Okay.
And welcome everyone, of course. And now onto the second session in the day with Femi. And actually, Femi is one of the most supportive certified team coaches in Scrum Alliance community, and actually a dear mentor and a friend of mine. So please join me in welcoming our professional coach, Femi Odelusi, who would be talking about bringing professional coaching and leadership competencies to Agile coaching. So welcome, Femi. It's always a pleasure to meet, and it's such an honor to have you today. Yeah, it means a lot.
Thank you so much for that.
Part of this. I leave now the floor for you.
Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you. Our paths crossed more than a year ago now, and ever since then, our professional relationship has been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Great collaborator, and it was a great honor for me when I was invited onto this session, onto this event, to be one of the speakers. And who am I to say no? Because this is one of the greatest things that gives me inspiration, not just from the perspective of Angie, and not just for coaching that I'm passionate about, but for the entire global community. So here we are. My topic today is just for us to go through how we bring professional coaching and leadership competencies to Agile coaching. Now, time is of the essence, so I'm going to do my best to pace myself very, very well, but at the same time to make sure that I don't spend too much time, because we need to allow time for interactions and questions. So a little bit about me. I'm not going to read everything about me. My profile has been shared earlier, so you know me already. Thank you so much for that. I'm a professional coach, and I help individuals, teams, and organizations to be the best they can be. I have a track record of successfully delivering transformation programs across the globe in several companies. I have a passion, and I emphasize passion. My passion is about how I guide teams and leadership of an organization towards maximizing and leveraging the benefits of today's business agility. It's all about survival in today's global market. What can I say? I've worked and collaborated with so many people, and they all have one objective in mind. It's all about proficiency in agile ways of working. I'm a member of the International Coaching Federation, ICF. I'm a Scrum Alliance certified team coach. Now, I happen to be the first Black man of Nigerian origin to attain the Scrum Alliance certified team coach accreditation. And ever since then, we are on a mission to increase the statistics and the number of African certified team coaches. Now, I know a number of people here that we're speaking together today have started their CTC journey. I'm not going to mention names because they know themselves. But for those who haven't started, now is the time to start thinking about how you want to move up to the next level, how to become a professional coach. And we'll find out a little bit more about that very soon. I'm a co-organizer of West Africa's first ever regional Scrum gathering, similar to what's happening here for Egypt and the Middle East, but in West Africa. Now, I'm a champion for workplace diversity, inclusion, eradicating unconscious bias, and I'm an international speaker on diversity, equity, inclusiveness, and justice. To start with, I want to briefly acknowledge and give kudos to everyone who was impacted or who is still impacted by COVID-19. We never thought we'd be here we are today, but we're getting through and it's getting better. Appreciation to everyone. I also want to briefly stand in the gap with our colleagues, our fellows, our friends, associates who are impacted by what's happening in the Eastern European country of Ukraine. Our thoughts and our prayers with them. To the sponsors of Regional Scrum Gathering Egypt 2022, we've got Scrum Alliance, Sejudim, Kite Software, thank you so much. To all the organizers, the fellow speakers, and all the participants across the globe. And finally, to my fellow coaches, trainers, coaching organization, mentors, mentees, I value and appreciate everyone. So now we're going to move on. What is coaching? What exactly is coaching? The International Coaching Federation definition of coaching is the main reference point for all other coaching bodies. And they define coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Now, I underline potential there for a specific reason. Okay, so, here we are, just in summary again. When we're talking about the main professional bodies across the entire world, there are just 3 main professional coaching bodies, main ones. You've got the Association for Coaching, you've got the European Mentoring and Coaching Council, and then you've got by far the most popular International Coaching Federation. Between these 3, they form what is called Global Coaching Mentoring Alliance, GCMA. The significance of GCMA will be apparent in just a few minutes when I move on. Now, when we talk about, so the slide we saw previously was professional coaching bodies. Now, let's have a quick look at Agile Coaching professional bodies. Strictly speaking, there are only 2 main Agile Coaching professional bodies. There's Scrum Alliance, by far the most dominant, the most popular, and the most successful. Then you've got ICAgile, the International Consortium for Agile. They've actually just started to gain prominence in the last...
I'm sorry for me to interrupt you, but your video is disabled, so...
Is it? Can you see something's happened there, is it? Did you see the slides that I've been going through before?
Okay, so I'm sorry, maybe it is at my side, so, okay.
Right, okay. How about now? Can you see now? Yes, are we on the Agile Coaching professional bodies? Can you see, can you hear me?
Yes, the slides is there, yes. Yes,
okay, fantastic.
Now the video is back, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for that, Angie. So, Scrum Alliance and ICAgile. Now, whichever coaching bodies we're talking about, whether they're the main professional coaching bodies or whether they're Agile Coaching professional bodies, all of them are based on a very simple and basic model. And this model I've called the VEC model. V for values, E for ethics, C for competencies. By and large, the professional coaching bodies are the ones who've actually got the model perfect. The Agile Coaching professional bodies still have a little bit of work to do to ensure the VEC model is up to a gold standard, the highest standard we can expect. And my presentation today covers where we are and what we need to do next to ensure that Agile Coaching gets to that same level. Okay, so I'm going to start. So everything I'm going to be talking about will be based on the VEC model: values, ethics, competencies. What do they mean? How do we apply them? How do we know when we are actually applying VEC model? And I'm going to start off with values. The question is, what are values? Maybe people can drop in chat what they consider values to be. And I'm just going to allow maybe about a minute for some comments in chat. And Angie, please kindly share with me what people are saying about values.
So we don't have comments so far, so.
Okay.
Beliefs,
Let me.
yes. Importance.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Pamela said it's importance, and we have Basima and said the things that I do, anything to
Mm.
practice them, worth,
Mhm.
essential, a professional environment,
Mhm.
walk the talk.
Absolutely. Thank you. All of that important. Values are basically something that you hold to deserve. Principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. So people say values could be do good, we are family, time is precious. These are all values. The words can actually demonstrate what we hold dear, what's our worth. So people could say things like learning, choice, potential, inclusion, integrity, innovation. These are all values. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so I'm going to start off with ICF, core values. Now, I'm not going to read everything that is on the screen, so allow me as a step through. ICF revised their expression of organizational core values a few years ago. And these universal values empower, inspire, unite all ICF members and all believers of coaching worldwide. ICF have core values that there are only 4 of them. The first one is professionalism. The second one is collaboration. The third one is humanity. And the fourth is equity. Those 4 core values underpin everything that ICF does. And when I say ICF, I mean members, anyone who works for them, and anyone who's associated with them. Now we're going to look at EMCC values. Now, as you can see here, they've got 7 core values. I'm not going to read all of these, but I'm just going to allow us to pause and reflect and have a look at what's on the screen. I hope the font size isn't too small. I'm pausing, allowing people to just take a look. And I just want to invite 1 or 2 people to share in chat which of these 7 values from EMCC speak to you personally. You can just drop the number, or if you can type the description.
So, social responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
5, 7,
Mm-hmm.
5. So, cultural diversity,
Mm-hmm.
5. Also, people are responding.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
6.
Thank you so much for that. Mm-hmm. Close to you. And personally, and this is the thing in today's world, never, ever in the history of mankind has diversity become such important for everyone. And almost every organization you work with nowadays, they ensure that diversity is included in their values. And when people think about psychological safety, workplace equity, diversity is at the center of it. So personally, I hold cultural diversity close to my heart. Let's move on. We're now going to look at the Association for Coaching, AC, and this is the third of the professional coaching bodies. And they have 6 values. Now, AC is difficult to actually interpret because you can see they've got 2 rings, well, 2 different sections. They've got the inner section And then they've got the outer ring. So they've got contribution, excellence and mastery, impact. And then they've got on the outside, on the inside, community spirit, coach approach, pioneering. With all three bodies that we've looked at, no one single value is more important than another. All the values are equally important. Sometimes they apply them to different degrees, but you cannot take one and say this is the only value we want to apply. All the values apply. Now, let's move on to the E in our VEC model. What are ethics? Simply put, ethics are the moral principles that govern our behavior, our conduct, and they form standards that we are adhered to. Ethics is based on well-founded standards of what's right and what's wrong. So usually you hear things such as someone's integrity being questioned. Integrity, ethics, they go hand in hand. Now, let's go a little bit deeper and find out, what do we mean by ethics? International Coaching Federation has a set of ethics. And what they've done is they've defined the ethics in 5 different categories. Introduction, where they define what ethics mean. And then key definitions. And then they now move on to the core values and ethical principles. Now, by far the most important is number 4, where you've got ethical standards. And then the final section in their code of ethics is the pledge. We don't have that much time to go through each one. I will recommend that when we share the PowerPoint slide later, there are hyperlinks where people can go and read a little bit more. Now, what's important for ICF is that in section 4, where they've got ethical standards, ICF have 28 ethical standards defined, 28. After defining the standards, they now have the section of pledging. As a member of ICF, you have to sign that pledge. And the pledge is basically for you to say, as a member of ICF, I pledge to act in accordance with the standards. If I breach any part of the code of ethics, I agree that ICF will hold me accountable. And I agree that if I get disciplined, I could lose my membership or my credential. So the code of conduct is important. The pledge is important. Now, let's have a look at EMCC. Very similar to ICF. They've got 5 sections: terminology, working with clients, professional conduct, excellent practice, and signatories to the code. Now, can I just add, what I'm stepping through at a high level here is actually quite detailed. There's about 8 pages of EMCC Code of Ethics. Of course, we're not going to go through everything here today. Again, I will invite people to please spend time later to go through the details. Now, with EMCC, what they've got is they've got signatories to the Global Code of Ethics. And here's a list of some organizations that have signed to their Code of Ethics. And that's for EMCC. And the final one now is Association for Coaching. similar standard, we can see that they've got 5 different sections: terminology, working with clients, professional conduct, excellent practice, and signatories to the code. Okay, so before I move on to start talking about competencies, any questions, comments so far?
So I guess we are good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now, C, competencies in the VEC model. What do we mean by competencies? It's very simple. It's the ability to do something successfully or efficiently, or I might even add proficiently. So competencies are at the heart of everything we do. A bit of a story. I remember working with someone some years ago, and they used to describe this person as incompetent. And do you know what? I had empathy for that person when they defined them as incompetent. It was basically because they needed to get better at their job. Rather than label them as incompetent, all they needed was coaching. And guess what? I took it upon myself to work with the person. And within 9 months, they had a massive transformation and they became excellent at their job. Everyone commended them. And no one ever described them as incompetent again. So let's find out a little bit more about competencies. ICF have 8 different categories of core competencies. And it's split into 4 domains. And then each domain has a set of competencies. You have the foundation, and then you have co-creating the relationship, and then you have communicating effectively. And the final domain is cultivating learning and growth. Now, you can see here that we've got numbers 1 all the way through to 8. Guess what? From a professional coaching standpoint, this is where we spend 90% of our coaching practice in the competencies. No less than 90%. This is the underpinning of what we do as coaches, whether agile coaching or professional coaching. This is the most significant element of our lives as coaches. Okay, in a similar manner, EMCC have their own coaching competencies framework. Surprise, surprise. They've also got theirs in 8 different sections, but the domains are different. So they've got contracting, got the functions of supervision, the capacity of the supervisor, and working groups. Now, I would invite people to please check out the links where you have a little bit more detail so that you can self-reflect when you go through the details yourself. If we attempt to go through it today, it would take us hours upon hours. And then the final one is Association for Coaching. They've got 12 competencies in their competency framework. They split theirs into 2. Coaching competencies for coaches, and then additional coaching competencies for executive coaches. Again, each of them has a lot of detail underneath. What's important about all of the competencies is they govern how we practice as coaches, how we show up, how we relate with our clients, what clients expect from us, what we expect from clients, how we co-create and partner and deliver coaching. Okay, let's look at Agile Coaching. What is Agile Coaching? Maybe we can ask people to drop a few things in chat and spend just about 1 minute, please. What is Agile Coaching?
Okay. So you can drop in the chat. So it's coaching of agile roles.
Mm-hmm.
Noha Muselhi is saying.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Noha.
Facilitating new ways of working.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea is saying. And Pamela saying working collaboratively with teams
Mm-hmm.
and individuals to creatively bring solutions, coach
Mm-hmm.
people to be agile. Basima is saying, thank you
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Thank you. So, Agile Coaching took their definition from ICF definition of coaching and then amalgamated it with Agile. That's simply what it is. Agile coaching is collaborating with people in a thought-provoking and creative journey using coaching approaches with an agile mindset and principles to help individuals, teams, and organizations be the best they can be. That's the simple definition. Now, what's a day in the life of an agile coach like? Which one of these from the X-Wing model do they do? Simple answer, all of these. They have different modalities from professional coaching to facilitating, transformation mastery, business mastery, mentoring, teaching, agile lean practitioner, consulting is missing from here. And, the day that an agile coach says, this is the only thing I do, that's the day that they want to go back and retrain, because we do so many things. Let's move on. I've put together a few resources that you can look at in your own time. Some short YouTube recordings, and there's a gentleman called Toby Sinclair. He wrote an article comparing agile coaching with professional coaching. Very powerful. And all it did was compare both and draw out some small differences between both. So have a look later. Lisa Atkin wrote a book called Coaching Agile Team. And this book is something that Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, leaders, project managers, in the book, she defined Agile coaching and how coaches should use an approach to ensure transition and transformation succeed. And then you have Bob Galen. I think Bob Galen will be speaking later on today or tomorrow. He's done a few research and written some articles, and he wrote that agile coaches need more than coaching skills. Essentially, what he was saying in this article is that to be successful as an agile coach, you don't limit yourself to just coaching skills. You need facilitation, you need consultancy expertise. And, if we go back to the X-Wing model, you can see all the various hats that an agile coach wears. Let's move on. When we talk about agile coaching, the first thing that comes to mind is agile team coach. But we saw from the X-Wing that there are so many other sections that are called modality that an agile coach is expected to have involvement with. Team coaching is just one of them. The next one we have is enterprise coaching. Again, this is coaching the entire organization, the leader, coaching them on vision, strategy, change, transformation, transition, adopting an agile mindset, business agility, and the list goes on. Now, oftentimes when we talk about agile coaching and organizational agility, the first thing that comes to people's mind is agile team coaching and agile enterprise coaching. I'm going to ask, in addition to these two, can people kindly drop in chats, please? What else should we consider when we're talking about agile coaching, apart from team coaching and enterprise coaching? What's the third one? Please share in chat.
Personal coaching, Andrea is saying.
Okay.
Thank you, Andrea. And individual coaching, Pamela.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Maybe something like life coaching, leadership.
Thank you.
Pamela also saying, Basima saying life coaching.
All of that is part of leadership. As agile coaches, we're meant to spend a great proportion of our time coaching leaders. Why is that? Why is it important to ensure that we have good coaching relationship with leadership? Again, please share your thoughts.
Leaders inspire change.
Fantastic.
They are to be example, change agent,
Absolutely.
exemplary change agents. Pamela and
Absolutely.
Andrew. So
Fantastic.
Basima is saying, Basima is asking to repeat the question. If you can repeat the question again.
Why is it important to ensure that we have good coaching relationship with leadership?
Okay. Leaders are leading by example, Sarah is saying, and Andrea is saying leaders makes the decisions.
Absolutely. Thank you. All of the above. Without leadership commitment to agility, we're wasting time. They lead by example. They commit. They are the ones who formulate vision, mission, strategies. So leadership are absolutely important. It starts with the leadership. They set good examples. They lead the change. Of course, they have to collaborate and be aligned with teams, with middle management. But if leadership do not actually understand agility, then it makes life more difficult for us as agile coaches. Let's move on. So, in summary, team coaching, enterprise coaching, leadership. And within all of that, we have life coaching, one-to-one coaching, group coaching, and every other form of working together with people. Now, let's start to look a little bit more about VEC for Agile Coaching. And we're going to start off with Scrum Alliance. Scrum Alliance have 5 core values. And it just so happens that these values are the same that you learn when you go on CSM, Certified Scrum Master course. Courage, focus, openness, respect, commitment. These values underpin everything we do as Agile coaches. There's a little bit more information about that in the course slides. So when we look at it together, but out of the whole lot, my personal value that I resonate with the most is respect. As we work together, we share success and failures together. We come to respect each other and to help each other become worthy of respect. I can relate respect back to diversity, inclusion, unconscious bias, creating safe space. Respect is absolutely important in what we do as coaches, how we show respect to our clients, team members, leadership, very important. More of that to come later. Now let's look at the code of ethics. So we've looked at the V, now it's about the E. Again, similar to what we saw with professional coaches. The code of ethics from a Scrum Alliance is split into 5 different areas. There's a long list of this. Please spend time. There's a link to the Scrum Alliance Code of Ethics here. Spend time looking at that later. They talk about representation. And then they spend time talking about professionalism. Beyond that, they now define professional responsibility. And then they have a section for compliance with Scrum Alliance policies. And finally, there's a pledge. Maybe a lot of people don't actually know when they complete a Scrum Alliance course, they are actually signing a pledge that I acknowledge and I agree to honor my ethical obligations to my customers, trainers, colleagues, and to the public at large. So we need to always remember the importance of our pledge. Now, let's move on. We're now going to look at ethics from the point of view of ICAgile. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to whisper. ICAgile do not have a set of code of ethics that they've published like all the other bodies we've looked at so far. There's room for them to make some amendments here. They need to publish a set of code of ethics. What they've done is they've aligned with Agile Alliance, and they've become a signatory to Agile Alliance Code of Ethics. Let's have a quick look at Agile Alliance. I mean, I'm pretty sure that a number of people here are already familiar with who Agile Alliance is and what they do and how they do it. So they have a code of conduct, and this code of conduct exists to help support practitioners like you and I in what we do. whoever embraces the code ensures they act ethically, even when they have to make difficult decisions. We act with courage, even where there's a negative impact to us as individuals. Those who sign this code of conduct come from different cultural contexts, different generational contexts, and different groups. The code of ethical conduct for Agile coaching is one that Agile Alliance have put together to provide guidance on our behaviors, on our approach. I'm pretty sure that you and I, in our works, we've come across difficult situations where we don't know what to do. Maybe we're in a position of compromise. We have to make a decision. How do we decide objectively? Who do we favor? Maybe you're coaching an individual within an organization. They come across a situation that puts you in a compromise. What do? You've decided that you have to work with them as a coach. But then, if you coach them properly, they have to make a decision. If you want a solution as to what to do, you look to the code of conduct for guidance. And that would give you an indication of how to behave. So, very important to embrace the code of conduct. This illustration here shows the 9 ethical conduct headings from Agile Alliance: confidentiality, acting within my ability, introspection and continuous professional development, navigating conflict of interest, ensuring value in the relationship, and so on and so forth. The last one is responsibility to the profession. So each of these are the 9 headings. Now, let's move on. Now we're going to talk about Agile coaching competencies. In this screen here, in this slide, you can see 5 different headings. And each of the headings talks about the 5 different competencies that are expected from Agile coaches. And then those headings are actually put in the growth wheel. Now, I love this growth wheel. It's a self-assessment tool. This is how we actually self-assess and say, how am I doing as a coach? This is a tool that you use in self-reflection to say, which areas do I need to develop myself? Which areas do I need to improve my competencies? There's a whole set of guidance on how to use this Agile growth wheel. We can work outside of this session. If anybody needs assistance, please reach out to me. Now, we've looked at the Scrum Alliance. We've looked at Agile Alliance. Now, let's look at ICAgile competencies. Again, I couldn't really find any specific list of competencies that ICAgile have published. However, what they've done is they have Agile coaching tracks, 2 specific Agile coaching tracks. They have team coaching and they have enterprise coaching. Within these tracks, they have included in the learning objectives the competencies that anyone who is accredited as an Agile team coach or as an Agile enterprise coach, they have to acquire the competencies. For those who are familiar with the Agile team coaching competencies, you've got ATF, team facilitation, and then you have Agile Coaching, which is the ACC. If you now become an expert in Agile team coaching, you're expected to be able to build competencies for Agile team coaching. They've got something similar for Agile enterprise coaching. If you follow this track, then you build your competency model for enterprise coaching. So, we've seen values, we've seen ethics, we've seen competencies from both professional coaching and Agile coaching. And that's really at the core of my presentation today. So, in conclusion, what next? How do we move forward? How do we bring the standards that we've got in professional coaching to Agile coaching? We've seen how Scrum Alliance have a very, very good VEC model. We've seen Agile Alliance. We've seen ICAgile. Where are the gaps? How do we ensure that we fill the gaps? What next? Any suggestions? I'm keen to hear your views and perspectives. Let's use chat. And so while people are talking, I'm just going to bring us to a close. As a recommendation, individual Agile coaches can sign up and pledge to the Agile Alliance Code of Ethics, Code of Conduct. All you need to do is click on the link there. And by the way, it's being revised at the minute. I think version 2 is due out in April. So watch this space. We're going to keep everybody informed.
So, Noha is saying maybe something like train the trainers. And Andrea is saying very interesting presentation, lots of information.
Thank you. Thank you. So coaching professionals, sorry, go on, please. We're good to go? Okay. Coaching professionals are expected to showcase and show all the professional values in all their interactions. This must now include Agile coaches. We're expected to demonstrate in all our encounters all the values, all the ethics, all the competencies that we've seen today. Not just when we're dealing with clients, but with every encounter in our personal lives, in our public lives. We need to demonstrate our ethical standards. Ethical competencies are really attitudes of the mind. They live within us. We show them. We demonstrate them. We don't say because we're not aware, we're not going to apply our competencies. We have to apply them in all walks of life. And then, for me, as a last suggestion, Agile that have their own code of ethics, they should really look forward to becoming a signatory to either the GMAC or Scrum Alliance Code of Ethics. And that way, we ensure that there are no gaps. And with that, I want to thank you all. And I want to make sure that we have time for questions and answers, if possible.
Thank you so much, Femi. And yes, we have got two questions. The first one from, actually you have many. So we have, is there a training roadmap to become an Agile coach?
Oh, good question. Should I stop sharing my screen now? I think we're done with
Yes,
the
you can.
presentation. I can see your screen, Angie. Okay, I'm going to stop screen share now. Okay, is there a roadmap? Angie, do you want to speak to that from experience?
There are lots of options.
Okay, what's the best option you would recommend?
Actually, I was confused. So Femi is my mentor, as I said. So it's like you can have, there is no 1, 2, 3. So there are many options, and you need to set priorities according what would fit into your experience, situations, what would really be beneficial to what you would take and apply the next day after the training. So I guess it's very hard to decide.
Thank you. The reason why I had to invite you is because when we had coach-coachee relationship, we had confidentiality. So I can't discuss what we had in our coaching sessions. So I'm just going to speak generically. The answer to your question is simply get a mentor or a coach to work with. As Angie just mentioned, there is no defined route. Everyone's journey is different. Therefore, until we know where you are, where you're going, how you want to get there, we can't say this is what a roadmap looks like. It all depends. So, get a coach, work with a coach, define a roadmap, work on that roadmap, and you will get there.
So we have another question from Pamela, and I guess it's answered. It's, what is the first step to become a certified coach? Do the steps differ for Agile coaching? So maybe the other part was not, do the steps differ between professional coaching and Agile coaching?
Is that from Pamela Ayodele?
Yes, it's from Pamela, yeah.
Pamela knows the answer. But of course, it's nice to have interaction. So the first step is get a roadmap. People sometimes think that, oh, it's just to do a series of courses and become a coach. That's not really what it's all about. There are a set of competencies that we have to acquire. Doing some courses is just a part of it. Developing the coaching mindset is probably the most important. And you know, when we talk about steps to become a coach, it's simply working to develop yourself, your self-awareness, have some self-reflection, and then when you become a coach, then you've just started to become a coach. Essentially, what I'm saying is that you never really say, now that I'm a coach, that's it. You're always going to be developing as a coach forever.
Yeah. So we are 5 minutes over the session time, but Femi, if you have time, we can stay and answer the rest of the questions because we have a couple of other questions. So
Okay.
if you guys are willing to stay, Femi is here to answer. If you don't mind, Femi.
Thank you. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Can I
So
just check, Angie?
yeah.
We had 25 at the beginning. Is that correct? 25 people in this session.
Yes, we it was between 30 and 25, 32,
Okay.
and so it's like
Okay.
a number.
Fine.
Keep
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine. So
Yeah.
we still have quite a lot of people Thank you
Yes, we have
all for staying.
25 now. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we have another question, qualification and certifications for IC Agile Trainer. What are the qualifications and certifications?
So, short answer, as I shared on the screen earlier, there are two different ICAgile tracks. There's team coaching, there's enterprise coaching. For team coaching, there are three different accreditations. There's Agile Team Facilitation, which is ATF, Agile Team Coaching, which is ACC, and then ICAgile Experts Agile Team Coaching, which is ICP-ACC. That's for team coaching. On the other hand, you have enterprise coaching, which has three courses: coaching agile teams, coaching agile transitions, and ICAgile Expert Enterprise Coaching. Now, I know people will be thinking, how do I know which one to do? They're different. But the answer, how do I know which one to do? Work with a coach. Don't make a decision on doing one course before you get a full, clear understanding of what's the difference between both of them. It depends on where you're going.
And yeah,
Go,
I'm
please.
saying yes. So we have a question related to this. Andrea is asking, how can I get mentorship from Femi?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And is Pamela still there?
Yes, I guess so.
Because
Yeah.
Pamela is a co-mentor.
Yeah, Pamela is there.
You can connect with me. You can connect with Pamela. And if I'm being honest, NG and I started off as a coachee. NG is now a mentor, because NG and I have collaborated over a period of time. And I just see NG mentoring other people now. Even though I'm still her mentor, she's now mentoring others. So you've got so many options. I'm here, Angie's there, Pamela's there. You pick, you choose. I hope that answers the question.
So I think we are always either the mentor or the mentee, but
absolutely
not to stop. Yeah, never to stop having. Everyone needs a mentor. Yeah.
And can I just add, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
I also have mentors. I'm a mentee. I have coaches. I have coaches that I'm working with who help me define my journey. Okay, I've done this. I need to do something else. I need to grow in some other areas. I work with my coach.
So we have a question from Amr Abu Naga. He's saying how to measure which level of coaching an organization can need. And I think this would be the last one. And what is the difference between an agile coach and enterprise agile coach? So
right. An agile coach works with agile teams, individual teams, coaching the Scrum Master, coaching the product owner, coaching team members, making sure that they have effective agile ways of working, that they deliver on cadence, quality, value, increments. That's the agile coach, coaches the team. On the other hand, you have the enterprise coach. The enterprise coach works with the leadership of the organization, works with management, makes sure that the organization develops business agility, value streams, that they understand what the agile mindset is, that the leaders are leading from the front. It's very important to know which one you like to do, whether you like to work with teams or whether you like to work with management, leadership, guiding the entire organization on how to cope with change. So sometimes the difference is very, very difficult to differentiate. You just need to understand that there are different levels. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Femi, for being so generous, answering all the questions, and thank you for the great presentation of today. And it's always a pleasure to be together in a meetup or this gathering. It means a lot to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone.
This session was recorded. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I will share the slides with you as a PDF so that you can distribute it to people who might want to use it later.
That would be great. Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone who's been with us to the last minute. And hopefully you would enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, Femi.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.